Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well, feeling well out there this morning, having yourselves a great start to your day and a great week out there so far. I got you an update, as always, like we do in the mornings, of what's going to happen weather-wise for most of the country today. We'll break it down region to region. We're talking about a little bit of snow, but really the big topic is the cold weather. I mean, today, high temperatures are going to be comparable to maybe December or January, especially for areas of the South. It's really going to be incredible how much we don't warm up today, if that makes any sense. And I mean, typically I think highs for most areas in the South are probably in the 70s in general on average. But today, certain areas that have average high temperatures this time of the year, maybe in the 70s, might not get out the 40s or 50s. So it's really impressive. This strong cold front has moved through, and eventually it'll make it to you folks down in Florida too. But we'll break it down and we'll talk about a little bit of snow also. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. I appreciate the people who continue to tune in these somewhat slow times. But listen, I mean, things are going to get active soon. I mean, we got winter literally right around the corner, as I mentioned in a couple videos ago. And I mean, hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, guys. These are great ways to follow along, especially if you live in the Southeast. I live in the Southeast. It's kind of where I first started covering weather. That's not the only place I cover, but I know above average knowledge, I guess, geographically about the Southeast and just a little bit more. Really, I think I can speak for all of us in the South. We certainly get excited about snow. Most of us do. But anyways, if you guys have not, if you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rolling here. Water vapor loop. A lot of dry air has surged and almost cleared the entire eastern U.S. The only area it really has not is Maine, actually, and Florida. And I know you're thinking, well, why hasn't it cleared Maine? It's just the way this trough is digging. Maine is going to get a lot of rain today, and we're going to talk about you folks up there too. But Florida, the cold front's coming. It's just slowly coming. But everywhere else, some lake effect moisture will fire off the day, and it just depends on where your area is at, whether it's falling as snow, rain, or a mix of both. So I can tell you right now this morning, there's some flakes flying around in Kentucky. We mentioned that last night in both videos, and that's certainly happening. You're getting some flakes. We'll talk about that here in a second. Freeze warnings, I mean, dominate a lot of the country. Millions of people are under freeze warnings, and millions of people are below freezing this morning. And then we have the frost advisories up for this blue shaded areas. This includes my neck of the woods. We're under a frost advisories right now. Not expecting us to get here in Columbia, South Carolina below freezing, but you never know. But I mean, Atlanta to Greenville, Charlotte, Birmingham, Jackson, Mississippi. You guys got freeze warnings going on right now. So you still got the winter storm warnings ongoing in the UP of Michigan. So, and then you got the flood watches up for Maine. So really talking about what's going forward here. I mean, first off, let's talk about this. You got some flurries flying around Kentucky. This is Kentucky, Indiana right here, Ohio, Tennessee. I mean, it's wild to think that flurries are that close to Tennessee in October. It's rare enough for Kentucky. But look at this area of snow showers moving into Louisville, Kentucky right now. You got some flakes being reported in and around the Lexington area. And my cat, come here. Come. Here's my cat. If anybody wants to see it, she wants to be in the video. There she goes. She's in the video. Okay. All right. Sorry, she's sitting there just meowing at my lap. Here we go. All right. So it's crazy to see flakes flying around in Kentucky right now. There's going to be a flooding risk in Maine, and really only Maine. Nowhere else today. There's a slight risk of flash flood guidance being met. That is at least a 15% chance. And y'all guys are going to get a few inches of rain between now and just tomorrow morning, but then it's going to keep on raining even after that. So that's a kind of a story, but it's obviously, you guys aren't going to get historic flooding or anything like that, but you certainly are going to see a lot of rain in Maine today. You already got a big rainstorm several days ago. It's going to be kind of another one today where you guys are going to pick up a lot of rain. Let's break it down region to region. Pretty quiet day. Maybe some flurries. Try to make it into Tennessee over the next couple hours. maybe that'll be wild, really. Hope maybe I got some folks up here in Northeast. I know I got a couple people on Twitter that I communicate a lot with and talk weather with here in Northeast Tennessee, areas of far eastern and southeastern Kentucky. It'll be wild to see if there's any flurries flying around this area. I mean, even if you see one flurry, that's really a big deal for October standards. But moving forward here, I think some flurries could start flying around this morning in the high elevations of West Virginia. And then to keep this going here, the only area that I see active weather outside of that is you're going to see some active weather in southern areas of Florida where you could see some downpours ahead of the front. But outside of that, not a big deal. You look at the Northeast, much more active of a day. And first off, you got this. There's two stories going on. One is the lake effect moisture flying off all the Great Lakes. Two is this kind of this onshore flow, if you will, of just continuous rounds of rain moving into Maine. We're getting into this afternoon. I mean, look in and around the Erie area, northwest areas of PA, western areas of New York State, northeast Ohio. It's going to be interesting, right? In this region's right here, you're going to get some cold rain, but you're going to mix with some snow at times. And then look at this blue. You know, Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, maybe Cleveland could mix with a little bit of snow today, maybe switch to just all snow for a period later this evening, and then just an onslaught of rain here, especially in eastern Maine, that could really just plague y'all's weather over the next 24 hours especially. But as we're getting into the overnight hours tonight, it'll be interesting. Most models have continued to show this over the last 24, 36 hours of more moisture kind of breaking loose off the Great Lakes here, and then we're getting deeper into western Pennsylvania, maybe even getting into central PA, and then maybe some flurries flying around well off the Great Lakes areas, and then maybe making it into Pittsburgh, and then some flurries showing up, and not flurries, this is downright just snow down here in West Virginia. And it'll be interesting as we're waking up tomorrow morning especially, how much snow's falling in these areas right here of New York State and PA for sure. But as far as rain between now and the next 24 hours, anywhere from 1 to as much as 4 inches of rain could fall, but most of the heaviest rain will be in the entire eastern section of the state. Basically, the more east you work in Maine, the more rain you're likely going to get. But this is the national blend of all models. Certainly going to get a lot of rain in Maine today. And as far as the snow, between now and just tomorrow morning, potential snow could fall even after that. It's showing the idea of pockets of maybe a couple inches of snow that could fall, guys. So if you just happen to get under this band and it's heavy enough to what we call crash the column, which it brings cold air to the surface, and it's kind of what happened in areas of Indiana last night, and you can get a period of maybe some heavy snow for an hour or so. It could accumulate to a couple inches very quick. This will be this heavy, clumpy snow. The flakes will probably be as big as $50 at least. And this could snow, it could fall pretty fast, pretty heavy for a period of time in this area of PA and far western New York State. And it could be in areas of Ohio. But you're seeing this area down here, a little bit of a northwest flow showing up in areas of West Virginia. And then one area I haven't really mentioned is really, there could be, I'm not even sure what's going on right now, but there could be some flakes flying around in the Smokies right now. I have not seen any reports on Twitter as of right at this moment, but that could be different by the time I'm done with this video. But there could be some flakes flying around throughout the day in the Smoky Mountains, maybe these higher elevations. I think my guy up here in Yancey County, North Carolina, who lives at around 4,500 feet, I think he saw some flurries last night already falling. So pretty wild. I really think that throughout the day and tonight, maybe some flakes, maybe upwards of past 4,000 feet to 5,000 to 6,000 feet. Mount LeConte certainly could get a couple inches of snow, I think is likely at this point. So we'll see what happens with that. The south central U.S., the only thing to talk about is really south of this frontal boundary. Rain will continue to be a story, not necessarily a big story, but a story in far southern areas of Texas, down to Brownsville, things like that, Corpus Christi. Certainly some rain flying around out there is definitely likely. Maybe an inch or two of rain is certainly possible. The north central U.S., Great Lakes region, lake effect snow will continue to fall. This might mix more so with rain today as you lose. You don't have as much cold air to deal with as you did yesterday. But one thing I'm watching is in Ohio a little bit later this evening into the overnight hours. maybe some snow drifting deep into Ohio. And then maybe some more flakes can make its way into northern Kentucky again. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia and the mountains overnight tonight, as basically the influx of moisture definitely switches more so to the east rather than more out to the west. But temperatures today, very chilly. These are high temperatures, only in the 50s. Deep into Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, the Carolinas, Virginia. I mean, you get into Tennessee, highs only in the 40s and 50s. Same deal with Kentucky, mainly 40s. Ohio Valley jammed into the 40s and 30s. It'll be colder in Alabama than it will be in Maine today as a whole. So very impressive cold air for October standards. And the only area that will be still warm is Florida. But even the cooler air getting into Florida, if you're in Jacksonville, for example, highs might struggle to make it to 70 today. Panhandle of Florida will be a beautiful fall-like day. But once you get a little bit further north, it'll be downright chilly, especially as you work your way to Birmingham, Greenville, Atlanta, places like that. Will certainly just be downright chilly today. It won't just warm up very much. Bright sunshine, but definitely a chilly day in front of that sunshine. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate the support. You guys have an awesome day and stay warm out there.